STD collectors of Reddit. Which was your most memorable diagnosis and which is your proudest? STD doctor here. Really, one of my coworkers diagnosed granuloma inguinale this year. It's pretty rare to see outside of tropical climates. One of the complications of an untreated infection is auto-amputation of the penis. I just want to give a shout out to my bro who caught gonorrhea from a girl. Got it cured. And, knowing he definitely got gonorrhea from this girl, went back and did it all over again. Quote the girl, "That's nasty. You didn't get that shit from me." Single quote. Not me but a very close friend. I was home from university with a really bad mental health episode and was feeling, understandably, quite sorry for myself. Had a text conversation with said friend, "Hey, you still depressed?" "Yes. I am. Wanna hear something that will cheer you up?" Sure, go for it." I have mouth gonerrrea. To this day we call them death breath, and although it didn't cure my mental illness, it certainly made me feel better for a bit. I'm a bartender by trade. Couple of years ago I contacted my first STD in the form of gonorrhea. I had never dealt with anything like that before, so I didn't realize the early warning signs. I went to work, and roughly an hour into my shift was when things got real. Spicy, my dick was leaking this horrible white pus. And it burned like I had fucked a jar of hot sauce and rubbing alcohol. So here I am running my ass off, waiting on tables and bar customers. And I am, behind my customer service voice, just in absolute agony. Every few minutes the pus would dry and glue my dick to the inside of my underwear. And then I would walk somewhere and it would tear off, magnifying the pain by 10 million. I eventually told my manager and basically told her, "Listen, I think my dick is about to fall off, I need to go," and I went to urgent care. Thank God they cured it. IDK if I'm a collector, but I do have a fun story, I guess. When I was 18, I was married, number 1, and noticed some problems. So I went to the doc who did a full workup. Turns out I had chlamydia. I told my then husband, who went and got tested the next day. Cut to a bunch of confused drama since I had one partner who not only claimed to be faithful, but then accused me of cheating. Cute. 2-ish days later, his best friend, who was dating my then best friend, came over complaining how she gave him chlamydia, but was claiming to be faithful. Yeah, all of a sudden, her randomly coming by, that I knew of anyways. Because she would leave stuff at my house and my then husband would say, "Oh yeah, she dropped by looking for you and must have accidentally left it," during times I suspected she knew I was at work. Came flooding back into my memories. Now I know 2 things: you are dumb and gullible when you're young. And people are fun. My friend got trichomoniasis parasite STD from some scumbag, but then kept sleeping with him after that. That was my first and only STD I ever got, and I got it from a boyfriend that was asymptomatic. I had never heard of it before, but the old antibiotics cleared it all up and everybody was happy again. Gonorrhea in my throat in Vegas, they have slot machines in the Herpes in my asshole from a stripper in Denver, first and last ass licking for me. I got 3 in 1 from a single girl, genial warts, molluscum, and a non-specific urethritis. I did not go back. You know the difference between love and herpes. Herpes is forever. Memorable. Guy the first was dating goes to another country for work, then comes back and gives me gonorrhea. We break up. A few weeks later, I find a video of him on Xtube getting dicked, fist-fucked, everything fucked in a BDSM sex dungeon in said country. Guess I know where my gonorrhea is from. Edit, since quite a few people have asked. I was not particularly looking for him in porn. The video in question just was one of the most viewed, favorited on Xtube for that duration of time, so I just saw it through porn window shopping and found it by pure coincidence. The time of upload and country in description matched from when he went away. In that regard, it's not such an impossible odd that anyone would come across the video, so long as you regularly frequent Xtube. I am not doubting the presence of an STD here when I tell this story. My old coworker was telling me a story of how he was in the next room at his friend, who was receiving a blowy house. And the girl giving it blurted, "Ew, why does your dick smell like fish?" Then according to the friend, she apparently continued, "Lol, I'm certain there was something caught there." I had some classmates get 4 days off over Christmas in a backwater third world port as cadets. They proceeded to get thrown out of multiple buy-me-drinky bars, despite paying many bar fines for being total shitshows and puking on a couple pool tables. They finished off the binge with tattoos in an open-air Aussie expat-owned beach bar and now have El Amigo across their chest in 6, tall bold font. One of the guys wanted El Padre, but stumbled off into the night before the artist could even get started. Back on the ship, the CMO diagnosed the 4 of them with a collective 3 cases of clap, 1 of syph, and 1 of crabs. So in my youth I was what you could call a bit of a slut. By the time I was in my 20s I had been with well over 60 people. So obviously routine STD checks were always a thing for me. Every single STD check was clear. I count myself a lucky slut. Hooked up with a guy who had really long hair, like halfway down his back. He gave me head lice. I had sex with this hippie chick and caught the clap from her. Not to get too graphic, but my dick was dripping like a busted pipe. Some of my friends went to go rob a card game from some guy and got recognition in the line of work that we are in. And I was supposed to go with them. I didn't. I had a nasty yeast infection at the back of my throat. Possible could have been chlamydial aspect to it. Was treated with potent antibiotics and antifungal. The day after the last oral sex I commented to her that something at back of my throat seemed off. She made a defensive comment trying to be funny, saying it wasn't anything to do with what her and I did. It was though. I had a colony growing for a few weeks before it got treated. I thought it would resolve on its own and I didn't recognize it as an STI until it was actually diagnosed as one. She liked her beer too. Had a nasty little brewery between her legs going. First real boyfriend gave me herpes at 19 and then lied about it for 6 months. And never told any of his future sexual partners. Which reminds me, always tell your sexual partners. I got herpes from my ex after being with him for 4 years. When I got the diagnoses I realized that he never cared about me and was just using me. I worked 2 jobs, took care of our daughter when I got home and still kept the housework up. All while he went to school. Basically he had stopped going to class that his dad paid for and was messing around with 3 different girls. Well, karma is a bitch and he got what he deserved. He said I was never home so we could never have sex. I did it once a week because I was working, and never talk. Honestly, this post has brought up a lot of memories that I wish never existed, but I'm just happy I'm finally focusing on myself. If I would have never found out, I probably would have forgave him and be stuck. So bullet taken but survived. Got herpes in Vegas and it really didn't stay in Vegas. Wrap it up like you wear a mask. Don't trust skinny white boys with money to know their status. I once had a bladder infection and my doctor recommended me getting an STD test as well because bladder infections in men can be an indicator of STDs. So I got it done and told my GF about us. She didn't seem too surprised or even interested. When the results came back negative to be sure, meaning no STD, I decided to play a prank on my GF at the time. During dinner I told her, "Listen honey, we have something to talk about. The STD test. It came back positive. Now for the past 5 years you are the only one I've had sex with. So, I don't really know how I got it." She looked at me, put her fork down, hands before her face and ran into the bedroom. Well, that's not what I expected. After contemplating for a minute I decided that I had to hope for her, thinking I was blaming her for cheating on me. While she didn't, that must mean that I am the one who cheated. Which is why she is now upset. Right, yeah, that must be it. I knocked on the door and entered slowly. As she was crying on the bed and uttered an apology. It was not Suhuhuhuhu posed. To ha he he happen, naive hopes shattered, I actually caught my GF, now ex. Obviously cheating on me by joking about an STD test I had to take because of a bladder infection. Great. So not me personally but in my undergrad. One of the football players apparently liked taking the condom off during sex, which, by the way, is sexual assault, and he gave a girl chlamydia. She told him that she got it from him and he said he would go get treated, and then they hooked up again after she was cleared and she gave it to him again. Doing the same shitty thing. And then she confronted him and he admitted he didn't actually get treated. He just didn't care. She went to campus police because he knew he had chlamydia and removed the condom during sex anyway, and that's really fucking not okay. They refused to do anything, might have had something to do with him being one of the stars of the team, so she instead used all of her remaining printing pages to write up her story and then post it to pretty much every bulletin board, posting wall, and building door on campus. So yeah, everyone on campus knew he had chlamydia and was a dickbag that takes the condom off during sex. I pity fucked my friend's dumped boyfriend and contracted chlamydia she had given him from a carny. Just ew. I just recently got gonorrhea in my throat from going down on another girl. Had the most horrific sore throat and am also a bit of a hypochondriac. Went to a walk-in clinic and they were largely dismissive. Doctor said she'd never encountered anyone who had it and tried to just rest for strep. I had to call her back in to get her to test for STIs too. Sure enough, gonorrhea of the throat. It's becoming treatment resistant too. If you get it in your throat, they give you a higher dose of antibiotics than if you get it in your nether regions. A lot of information online says it's really hard to transmit female too. I know a friend that lost his virginity at 22 to a friend of his and promptly caught chlamydia. She apparently had no symptoms. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and hit the notification button. See you next time.